was like, I need a change and I'm desperate for it. And so I was seeking weight loss surgery.
Have you expressed yourself to that particular person?
There's a calculation there. Would they even get it?
They're not at the age where they're going to comprehend and understand certain things. Hi, my name is Diana Nicarici, Nurse Gone Rogue. I've got Trevor here with me today. Trevor, would you like to introduce yourself formally?
Yes, my name is Trevor Collinson. I'm the CEO of Cascade Creative. We're a branding and marketing agency. We help blow people's minds.
Oh, okay. Well, I like that. I just got done podcasting with John about, Get Psyched Fitness. So I feel like that's like the mind-blowing experience we're going to be exploring now, huh?
A lot of mental things going on today. Oh, yeah. I'm feeling very mental today, so we're in for a treat.
What?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So, I'm on the way over here, and I'm just thinking about, like, what am I going to say? I'm talking about what I do.
Oh, we always have so much to say. Are you kidding me? We never struggle with conversation.
This is true. But I was also thinking, God, like, I'm so infested in the brain with branding. I'm over here thinking about like what other marketing companies are doing and like what sets me apart and blah blah blah. And so I start thinking more about like human mind and communication and the mental aspect of it. And start drawing comparisons between marketing and how we talk to each other as people and how we trust each other as people and like trusting brands and how brands express themselves and how you connect with them. And that's like I could just rant about it, but I'm feeling very mental today.
Well, tell us a little bit about, because I feel like I started learning about branding and like personal branding. I just started really investing in that recently, and it's obviously been
How's it going for you? Tell me.
popping.
Okay, it's popping.
In all the different ways. Yeah. But it's also scary to someone that's like, I'm super medical. I've been super like business, but I've never been super like branding. I felt like I use super a lot, but I felt super unprepared for a couple of the cliches that like, I feel like I've heard a lot about the internet, but now I'm like experiencing. Like one of them is like the internet loves to hate.
Really? You're getting hate?
Oh yeah, a lot.
Wow.
So
awesome. Yeah, if you're not getting hate, you're doing something wrong. Good
right.
job. No, that's
right.
great.
So why don't you explain a little bit of that? Because I know a lot of people are like so scared of going down this journey of like branding and like, what are people going to say? People are going to tear me apart. And like one of the best things that I've ever heard from someone like phrase wise was, the other people's opinions of you are none of your business.
Oh yeah.
But why don't you describe like what that's like from a branding point of view? Because like my reaction when this first started happening, which the first time it ever really happened, I was on a very, very well-known podcast and that wound up being a very big scam and like just so much hate live, like on YouTube live type of thing. And a lot of like shitty edits about me as a person and stuff. And so that experience was so disappointing for me personally. I know everyone else is like, no, that's what you want. You want controversy. Like people like you, people like Fitz. Yeah. People that I know within my network that are like videographers and personal branding experts, they're like, no, we want all the controversy in the world. Like, can you describe that?
Yeah, I sure can. So let's put it all together. So we're talking about branding, we're talking about personal branding, but we're also talking about us as people. And so it's like let me talk about my personality right now.
Sure.
So
I love your personality, by the way.
Thank you. It's branding. It's because I'm so infested in my brain with branding that
infested or
yes,
invested.
Well,
both.
Yeah, it's just it's fused into my personality.
Right.
To where like I started like acknowledging parts of me that maybe weren't being presented as well. Right. So like I started doing all these minor things. There was a guy that walked past me at the gym, and I don't know why it takes me forever to realize these things. There's a guy that walks past me at the gym, and he smells great. And it dawns on me at that moment. There's no bad time to smell good. So like, and I didn't, I didn't care like that it was a guy, a girl, it doesn't matter. It's a person that smells good. So like that interaction as he's walking by is already positive. So why aren't you carrying like a positive interaction with you wherever you go? Like right now,
I feel like Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that should be the like slogan for a great cologne. It's
Yeah.
never a bad time to smell good.
Exactly. I mean, it's never
How is
bad.
no one using that yet?
It's never a bad time to, like, comb your hair, brush your
To
teeth.
look good too. Yeah,
And
yeah.
just like, so a lot of these decisions started like fusing into me just because of branding, just because of like presenting myself in person, networking, getting to know people, making first impressions left and right. And so that applies to personal branding. That's where the controversy comes in.
Okay.
Is that I've done all this stuff to kind of make myself this like very clean and polished version of myself, but it's genuine to a point, because then I leave out the other things that are controversial because I want to appeal to everybody, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what most people do, and that's why most brands are boring and uncontroversial.
Okay.
So when you start expressing yourself and like some of the lived experiences you've been through, some of the things you've done that are shocking to some people, that's where the controversy comes in. But you're being true to your brand when you're talking about these things. You're being honest about the things you've done in your life. So having that entire picture of the entirety of you as a person and being willing to actually go out there and say things, that's where people are like, whoa, whoa, whoa. This
Yeah.
information is too much for me to handle. I got to let her know about it. So as far as the content,
So it's really like a projection of like
Oh,
unhealed
yeah.
wounds.
Yeah. Well, it can be. It kind of depends on the
what?
controversy.
Okay.
I mean, in
So
your case, maybe.
let's talk about some of the virality that I've experienced. And
Okay.
most of it, like most of the negative virality that I've gotten, so I'll talk like two in particular. The one that's more recent is it was a clip, me talking about dating single moms, and like it's one of the best things you could possibly do, in my opinion, being a single mom, obviously. But, I'm like, they're compassionate. They have the patience of a saint, like da da da. Juan said it best. He likes single moms because he always gets snacks. So, we had that conversation. But I got a lot of
Always
hate.
prepared, yeah.
Most of it is, like, most of the comments that went viral on TikTok is 95% men. And a lot of them have a lot of hate to spew out there, probably based on, like, I'm thinking how much of it is algorithm, like it's just pushing out to the people that are engaging with it, and it's a lot of negative engagement, right? But that was like atrocious, like And then there was one edit that went viral from a very big podcast. I'll probably talk about it later when I'm feeling super mentally strong to talk about it and to take it head on. But essentially, like I talked about, like early in my dating life when, I was just getting back out there. I was just meeting people, like coffees, lunches, short dates, whatever. And they took like a clip of it. They edited it into something very, very controversial for like the more conservative, group of men. And they really like came down on like what a terrible mother, like what a terrible person, like blah, 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 blah. And just tore me to pieces. So those were my experiences. A lot, like some of the viral content that's gone viral on like TikTok and Instagram have been me talking about like hormones, about how male hormones manifest in the morning via boners. And then there's all these men that are like, what is she, here's another like TikTok doctor, like thinking she knows what she's, and I'm like, literally, I've seen probably more penises, unfortunately, a lot of innies out there, okay? Like, especially in the intensive care unit, like you're not seeing healthy people, but I know what I'm talking about whenever I'm talking about how the body responds to like hormones, to stress, to illness, to malnourishment, like all these things. But, it just like, it was really shocking. One time I used the word slave to describe an emotion or a feeling. And I've gotten a lot of validation from a lot of my other peers and like colleagues in the healthcare world, like corporate healthcare, and they identify with it, and they're like, that's literally how it feels. Wow. So just that whole thing. I mean, as a non-marketing professional, I sit there and I see it and I'm like, people just like totally missed my point. Like they missed like the humanity behind me and like the passion, the care, like what I was trying to say. And some of it, yes, may be the way it's edited. Some of it may just be like the algorithm pushing it to the people that will engage, which is negative population. But like in your opinion, like you just said, you said, you know, brands that don't have controversy, which now it like starts clicking and making sense. People are bored of it. So it just kind of blends in. Like people want to blend in so much, like put a facade, but then really that makes you no different than the general population or what?
Exactly. Well, exactly. Yeah. Like me without the controversy, like you know more about me than like the average
Right.
viewer on the internet.
Right.
You know the parts of me that like are more spicy and interesting, or at least to a certain degree.
Right.
So if you took away those aspects and you just left like, you know, the clean glossy version, would I really be that interesting, or would I just be kind of like, oh, that's Trevor, he's a clean glossy guy?
I mean, I feel like Trevor is Trevor. Like you have your own place in the definition of like the, you know, the name Trevor, because every time I've seen you, like we met a little backstory in ESC. The first thing I noticed about you, which is another cliche saying, right? You only have one chance to make a first impression. Your first impressions are always, he's wearing some sort of print, some sort of shiny, some sort of something, and it's an attention grabber, like immediately. And you know what people like? What I think when I see it is like, that motherfucker doesn't give a fuck about what anybody thinks about what he's wearing, and I like that, and I want to be more like that. Like that's what happened when you came to the event with me too that night. Like how many people walked up and were like, "You take the cake." Like you're wearing a sequin blazer. That's like merman colors,
Oh,
like
yeah.
teals and blues and shiny and metallic and whatever. Like, walk me through that.
So,
Because I'm sure you get a lot of shit about it too. Or have you ever?
let me just explain it this way. I don't get shit about it. I wouldn't take shit about it anyway. I'll compare it to my history with roller coasters. My whole life, like when I went on a roller coaster as a kid or something, like I found them to be exciting to a degree. But like once you start talking about these things going upside down and corkscrews and all this crazy shit, like I'm out.
Yeah.
No way. No way. No way. I'm just like, who wants to put themselves in this situation where they're just been like terrified, right? That was my stance, past tense, because when I was like, you know, just a few years ago, like when I was 40, I think my big 40, I went to Busch Gardens. Somebody took me by the hand, metaphorically, and we went on all of the crazy roller coasters.
Oh my God.
At Busch Gardens, and they're crazy at Busch Gardens.
Yeah, my
Like,
daughter told me.
huge drops, you know, crazy corkscrews and everything. And I just remember I was walking up to this ride, and there was like no lines that day because we went during the day.
Yeah.
Nobody there, so we were just like walking straight up. I'm like freaking out a little bit on the inside.
But you would never show it. Was it a lady that took you?
It was a friend.
Okay.
So she took two. It was three of us total. And I just said whatever, and I just went for it, and I strapped in, and I went on it. And after the very first drop, my perception completely changed, and it went from me being a victim of a roller coaster to me like putting it on and flying it like Iron Man.
Ooh.
So like I started viewing it as flying.
Okay.
And ever since then, every roller coaster is like exciting.
And do you put yourself in those positions now where you're like, what's the scariest roller coaster? I want to go there first? Or no?
Not that extreme.
You're not there yet.
Well, I like the adventure. So like I'm not like these crazy ones that just go up and drop you. I'm not gonna do that shit because it's just like it's just up and down. I don't get it. There's no adventure. But really the point is
But the journey ones.
So the journey ones I like. And it took me getting to a point where I was like just willing to make that change, and somebody like saying, "Hey, do this." Me be like, "Wow, this is great." Same thing with the outfits, which is I've always just dressed like I thought myself as some sort of artist where I could just like wear short sleeves because I got a cool tattoo and you know I'm different, I'm a creative and all that shit. But like I was just you know in this social setting surrounded by people who are dressed a little bit nicer, and it was suggested to me that I start dressing a little bit nicer.
Oh, really?
Yes,
The power
by
of suggestion.
an elderly woman who was with me suggested I start dressing a little bit nicer. And from that moment, I went bananas. I got all these colorful outfits and all these colorful prints, And I said, if I'm gonna dress nicer, I'm gonna be wild with it. And
I like that.
and it's been nothing but good has come from it. So I'm expressing myself, and it's just like, so I escaped the sameness of the branding. So yes, when I walk in, people do notice, people do compliment, and it's kind of a tactic to get people to talk to me because I'm not great at starting conversations.
What do you mean you're not great at starting conversations? You're so great at conversations in general.
Yes, I'm great at maintaining them. I'm bad at starting them.
Huh. So what have you done? What would you tell some? How have you worked on that skill?
It's like
For all the viewers out there that struggle with the same exact thing.
it's just a muscle. It's like going to the gym. I go to the gym. I force myself to go to the gym regularly. It's a muscle. So if you have struggles with talking to people, public situations, introducing yourself and representing yourself, I suggest doing it more and more and more. Getting into networking groups, getting into the entrepreneur social group, all these settings where I was repping myself, man, like I started off like introducing myself to a room of people and I would like choke halfway through my sentence. Mm-hmm. And nowadays, I'd say I kind of hold my own pretty well, which is a huge step up for me.
Right.
Other people can do it just fine, but it's always been a struggle for me. And so it took a lot of working out that social muscle to actually get to where I could do it.
Well, and also I will say the one particular interaction that I remember when we initially met was, I think it was last summer before the hurricanes, came to turn us all upside down and all around. But you had come with your whole setup with photography for headshots. And at one point, Sheldon, our mutual friend, who has come up now in 2 podcasts in a row, because for every dictionary, there's also a Sheldon. So he took the camera and he started taking pictures, and you were just like working it. And I was like, dude, what? And you said, yeah, I have 0 problems eye fucking the camera. Like, no worries with that. So for the people that struggle with that part, because like I've done a lot of photo shoots and like sessions and things like that, and I'm in front of the camera a lot, but people may think that I'm super confident by like the shots that are gotten or just the fact that I'm in front of a camera because I've put myself in that position. But I really do struggle a lot of times with like, I need guidance, or what should I do? What kind of like, how would you coach somebody that's like struggling with, I'm just standing in the same position and I feel like I don't have creativity in front of the camera lens to get the most out of my like photography session?
Yeah, I've been working with people doing photography for a long time, and my experience is that you really need to plan ahead. There's some great people out there, some great accounts that just straight up teach you posing. And if you get on some of those and just get some poses you like ahead of time, you can just take all that stress out of it.
Oh, I love that. What are some of your favorite accounts?
I don't have them off the top of my head.
You don't know them, even like the names, like in Instagram? I know. I've seen some on Facebook that have just like popped up randomly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that makes you look slimming. Oh, that makes you look like, I mean, just like different like fashion type poses. And it's like, I feel awkward when I don't know where to put my hands, where to put my legs, how to angle my body, like the angles, whatever.
So I have been working with people for a while. For a lot of times for me, like I just understand how different figures look. And this all goes back to me looking at, Michelangelo work in my college days, just obsessing about how he like, would draw the form and like paid so much attention to all the detail and the marble and all that shit. So, I know how to like kind of work people's angles and I know what generally works, but at the same time, if the person you're talking to and trying to get the pose doesn't quite get it,
it makes it even more awkward,
right? Because they're unnatural and just all over their face.
Right.
So even if their body is kind of getting there, and then their face isn't there, and then they're trying, and it's just like it's too much trying.
Yeah.
So
and then it's not natural. All of a sudden, it's not organic.
Yeah.
I did hear this morning a conversation. I think it was Chris Willicks. I think it was Chris and Matthew McConaughey. It was a clip out of their most recent podcast, and they're talking about the Michelangelo effect. Do you know about that?
Please go on.
So the Michelangelo effect is essentially our capacity to see the best in people and to extrapolate the best in people and like maybe something that they're even blind to. Like, for example, people always tell me, like, you're so strong or you're so brave. And a lot of times, most moments of my life, like, I feel everything but strong and brave. You know, I feel weak. I feel scared. I feel, you know, a lot of times I'm doing things. They say, do it scared, do it messy, but just do it. You know, so I've learned how to specialize in doing that, but it doesn't necessarily feel good while I'm doing that.
Yeah.
But the Michelangelo effect is essentially like us as humans in our human experience. Like me, you and I had an initial meeting like a few months back, and I was like, oh, there's all of this stuff that like I see you have so many skills to do. Do you want to talk about like that interaction? Because that one, I feel like that was like a little like you were like, oh shit, she's cool. Like what? What?
Are you talking? Where were we?
We were here.
Okay,
We were at
okay.
the
I'm just making sure we're on the
Yes.
same page. Yeah. I mean,
What was going on through your brain like during that meeting
well, so I
and after?
had pre-respect for you baked in.
Baked in.
It was baked in. I
Because
already
his mouth doesn't have a muzzle or
exactly
filter.
right, right, and I feel like you got to earn that in some ways.
The stripes, yeah, I've earned my
yeah.
stripes.
So I just walked into it, you know, with an understanding that I'm dealing with a professional, and so we just kind of took it from there. And at that time, I was focused on one particular like idea of a solution, but I think the more we've talked about it, and this is part of why it's kind of sometimes hard for me to define exactly what I do, is because I'm not going to say like, oh, I offer fractional CMO services, because like now if I'm talking to this person, this client over here that says like, hey, we have a need, I'm not just going to say like, hey, here's my fractional CMO hammer, I just hit everything with it. I'm just going to say, what are your needs and what actually fits into that, and what's the solution that's going to like blow this thing up. So that's I think we've moved in that direction. But that was our first meeting. Was I'm dealing with a professional in a new space, and I feel like I've got an expert here to kind of help make this thing happen.
And you were like, this lady really knows her shit about old people.
It's true. Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about like our most recent project, because I really feel like this is something in its infancies, but it's something that could really explode. And actually, Presnell and I were on the way here, and we talked about it. And I really, really love the idea of podcasting or setting adult children, families up with a package where we can interview and podcast with elderly people. Part of the Legacy Project.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking?
Yeah,
Remember? Yeah. So we've talked about like the Legacy Project, like building out while we have people in our care, you know, some sort of a more elaborate, polished, put together, nice, like memorabilia for their family.
Yeah.
Right. And now
that's a really like do it like how many like
just a mic and over like time, like
Yeah.
maybe once a week or once a month, depending on how they're feeling and like how urgent it is to their family to like you know, capture whatever memories this person has. Because, you know, we specialize in ALS, dementia, Parkinson's, like all of these different memory deficits, or people that are having like multiple strokes. And, you know, they may still have the capacity to speak now. And maybe no one's really sat down and just like asked about like, get a list of like their kids' names and say, what's your favorite memory about?
So you're dropping this on me live and in person.
Yes, I know. Because
Let
I
me-
wanted that effect.
Let me tell you one of my favorite videos right now. It's of my grandmother. She passed away several years ago, but before she did, there's a video. She made like this nice long video story just telling about her life being a nurse.
Wow.
You know, and my grandpa, and he went off to war, and she was the Korean War, and she was talking about their correspondence, just all these different things. And that's like just one of the coolest videos that we have as like a family. It's just her just straight up telling her story with like all of her personality and character.
Right.
So having that as like an offering within like an assistant.
Within the Legacy Project.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's another layer of huge.
Massive, right? Like,
Yeah.
who wouldn't pay for that?
Yeah.
But the
I mean,
love.
people who anyway.
No, those people aren't putting them in my home.
I mean, that's true. Yeah.
You know, like the people that are coming to our homes are like, I could show you the email of my most recent admission of the adult daughter, and you know, a lot of times adult children have to step in, and they're like, mom or dad can't continue being primary caregiver. Like it's absolutely wrecking them physically, mentally, emotionally. It's just so hard. And we need to move mom or dad, whatever, into your facility. And I mean, she sent me such a long email message and was like, I'm just going to brag on your staff, especially on your manager. Like, I'm so happy that we chose your place. You know, I'm so grateful. I was at this, you know, the hospital was super late with discharge. I was in middle of nowhere at a volleyball tournament. My husband was home with our 2 younger children, and your manager stepped up and went above and beyond on this way, blah, 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 blah. You know, and people, I have a lot of emails. Not a lot of people have, like, it's hard. I don't know where the disconnect is, but like from email to Google review, it's like an act of Congress to get someone in there to, I'm just like, copy paste. That's all you have to do. Like your favorite part. It doesn't have to be the whole email. But those types of people, like those are my ideal avatar. People that really, really care. Like they're like, mom and dad made so many sacrifices in life. They saved up money or whatever. It's their money. I would like to spend it on the best quality of care towards end of life or towards like their last 100 meters. And I feel like those people have so much love already for their parents that they're like, I would totally pay to have an incredibly made video full with B-roll for my family, for like my children, because we don't know how much longer dad will live. And like, even if dad is not verbal, maybe having mom talk about it beside him while they talk about like memories and seeing him light up, like his face and stuff. I feel like that would be something so beautiful for families to have as a legacy.
And now you want to do some data testing. If this is all implemented, put a Google review link on those emails that you're sending out with those podcast results and videos, and see how your rates come in.
Oh,
I'll bet you get a lot more reviews.
I see. Oh, from like other people's?
The email where they're like, here's my loved one. Also, please send us a review.
Yeah. Okay.
Just a thought. Just a thought.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like, so, because I know that my, like, I don't want to cry, but there was one moment that I had, like a pivotal moment when I first started my like divorce journey, my journey towards like single motherhood. And I was absolutely scared shitless that like I didn't know if my body would make it through the amounts of stress that I knew that it was going to take. And I was so freaked out that my story would live inside of me and would die with me, and that my children would never see it, or that my children would never learn the things. Like there are people that say like, I want to give my kids everything I didn't have. My motto has always been, I want to teach my kids everything I never knew, because like it just makes life so much more meaningful and a little bit more simple. Life is so complex anyway. It's always going to be that way. But I feel like that's something that anyone would have buy into. And I'm going to take that, and like kind of flip topics to like your health journey, because like I did not know until maybe just a few short months ago that you've went through a massive health journey. And then we talked a little bit more recently about like where the struggles began and like what happened. Would you mind talking about like whichever parts of it you'd like to talk about and maybe inspire others on that?
Well, so part of me being true to my brand is covering all the topics of who I am.
Okay.
And that's certainly one of them.
Let's go.
Yeah, no, I'm not as shy as I used to be, but yeah, I don't know, like growing up, I was just one type of person. And that type of person didn't necessarily acknowledge the trends that was going on in my health. I knew that I was gaining weight, and I knew the foods that caused it, and I knew the lack of activity that inspired it. And
how old were you at the time when you started becoming self-aware of that?
Oh gosh, well, so that's a tricky question. I've I'm still super self-aware of everything about myself to this day.
Yeah.
I've always been super self-aware, and I've always been very aware of my size. But I think the real question is, when did I decide that I needed to change it? And I decided when I was a college student, roughly.
But when did you, before you made the decision,
Uh-huh.
notice and kind of felt trapped in that, like, I know this,
Uh-huh.
but like obviously no changes happened until college.
I would
or
probably say
minimal
high
changes.
school. High school was when I became a lot more aware, because through middle school I was overweight, but it didn't matter. Mm-hmm. Sort of.
Right.
And then I get into high school, and it's like, then it becomes more of a problem, because then it's like, now you're in social circles, buddy. Now
Yeah.
you're in the dating game
The
because you're in
caste
high school.
system,
Yeah, yeah.
hormones.
And so, all through middle school, all through high school, all through middle school and high school, I never had a girlfriend. I had a few crushes, and I was not considered an option to anybody. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was a small class, but I really embraced being the funny guy. So I had a lot of friends.
You had to develop your personality.
Oh, I had a heck of a personality. Yeah. It had a long ways to go even back then, but at least I was funny. So I'm sure it's, I don't know if those two things are directly related, but anyway. So yeah, high school, undateable, quote unquote. Also, it was partially a mentality thing, which
Maybe a limiting belief to yourself.
a
like,
limiting
in yourself.
belief. I was also, I spent a lot more time at home in front of the computer and down certain trails of the internet that can get a little toxic for men.
Yeah.
And so I would say, like, the height of my weight was the height of me looking into this toxic hole that guys find themselves in on the internet. And I saw other people straight up in this hole of despair, of like undateable, unfuckable, like,
Right.
I'm gross, women are whores, just like all this awful stuff.
Right.
And I certainly had no interest in being a part of that. I didn't feel that way. Mm-hmm. And so this was at the same time where I was like, I need to change, and I'm desperate for it. And so I was seeking weight loss surgery, and it took me 3 attempts to actually make it happen finally.
Why? What was the impediment?
So one time, for whatever reason, I got psych failed. They failed me on my psychological eval.
Which meant what? What did they say? Like
I don't really remember at this.
Okay.
I think
without getting
I'm
too
sorry,
far into like details.
I just remembered and my mom's a little bit upset about this. Is that they didn't feel like I had a proper support system.
Okay.
So
to stay the course and whatever.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. So I got failed from that. I tried it again, and then the day before I was scheduled, they're like, "Oh, by the way, your insurance doesn't cover this." I was like,
Well, that's a big no.
Yeah, that was rough. So 3rd time's a charm. It finally happened around the time that my youngest son was born, and I told myself, and I knew this because I fell in love with muscular men when I was young. Comic book characters.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I could see
yeah.
that.
I started creative kid. I was drawing the comic book characters, like insane, ridiculous physiques of these comic book characters, and then I'm in college and I'm inspired by certain bodybuilders, and I'm like completely on the other end of the spectrum. I'm like buying 5X shirts at specialty men's clothing stores. So I told myself, like, if I could make this happen, I was going to make it count, and I am, and it has, and there's like 0 chance of me going back to the old me. And
any regrets that you have on making that life-changing decision and that anatomical change? There's no wrong answer, by the way. This is just speaking as freely as you feel about it.
Like my only thing would have been, like, it would have been nice if I could do it a little earlier. That's it.
You feel like it would have been just so much more impactful on your life if
yeah. Well,
they would have approved you sooner in life.
Yeah. It would have been nice to. and it's just weird because like all this technology just kind of exists as we go through time. It's like now there's just like a thing you can inject, and it's just like you can just start shedding weight, and that was never an option when I was around.
But let's talk about that, because like how much more unhealthy is that shot than the surgery?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, that's a good question.
Because I'll tell you, I mean, you still have a very healthy pancreas at this point,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And kidneys and liver
Yeah.
and
No, I'm
like
doing
those,
pretty good
those
with
are
all my guts.
guts and stuff, right?
yeah.
Like that's the difference that I feel like people are like, oh, well, I don't have to go undergo surgery. Okay, yes, and however, would you rather? I mean, I don't know. I've gone through some anatomical changes myself. I've had 5 babies, so I know what it means to like have like your body completely change and transform and mutate a few certain times. But putting a substance that will tax your inner core organs like that versus just an anatomical snip and constriction type of thing is a whole different ballgame. I mean, I'm hearing way too many like diabetes coming from it, which you would think would be like reverse because you're losing weight. So diabetes type 2 should come down. But if you're killing your pancreas, which is what is sending out the insulin and stuff, and then liver is regulating it. Like if you're not able to detox because you're losing weight so fast, I feel like that's something that people don't really comprehend and understand. And I'm curious to know if you went through any of this stuff while you were losing a lot of weight, because I know that you lose a lot of weight post-operatively, but a lot of people, what they don't realize is when you're burning that much fat, our fat actually is a housing place for toxins. It's what keeps us safe.
Oh, okay.
So that's why like when you're sweating, when you're losing weight, like they say losing 1 to 2 pounds a week of weight is like the most you should be losing. But why? Nobody talks about why.
Yeah.
It's because you're losing adipose tissue, fat, which is what's storing a lot of like not only minerals and vitamins and things like that are fat soluble, but also all of the toxins that your body's trying to protect you from.
Right.
So now all of a sudden they're just like free radicals
Right.
swimming around in your body, and they're gonna be deposited somewhere if you're not doing all of the things that you need to like detox and bind those toxins out of your body while you're losing all the weight. So do you feel like you went through any of those phases, or did you just feel like, man, right after that surgery, like everything was just like great other than physically healing from the pain?
Yeah. I mean, physically healing really wasn't that awful. The weight loss was super fast, like for the first month, just because you follow the diet they give you, and it's super sensitive, like broth, stuff like that. So, but then after that, I've had no issues. I was gonna say there was one,
and it shifts your hormones for sure, because that's where hormones are stored in your midsection fat for the most part.
Yeah, I didn't have any. Okay, I just remembered. I didn't have any issues like with losing weight. I didn't have any like health complications. I just, it's just interesting. You have to just learn how to eat a little differently, like a little slower. You can't just like, if you take like bite and then swallow, bite, swallow, and you do it again, you're like, at least in my experience, like you're putting yourself in trouble, cause it's going down, but it's not like plunking down into your tummy every bite. So like things back up, and you're like, oh my god, I gotta like slow it down. Yeah. So you have to learn how to eat differently, and Other than that, though, it's been great. And to what you were saying about altering yourself in the pursuit of this and that, that's sort of the same reason why I'm not willing to do any of these like crazy bodybuilding drugs. Because like I just watched Mr. Olympia. They just crowned a new Mr. Olympia, Derek Lunsford. He's from Tampa, actually. Just won Mr. Olympia. Yeah. There's a little bit of controversy there, but that's
why.
So he's dealing with his own controversy because people are comparing the winner to the runner-up or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, the runner-up's more muscular and blah blah blah." But I honestly,
and were they all tested for like natural?
No, none of it's natural. Yeah,
No.
They don't play like that. They're like, you can't look like an actual like human gorilla monster and be completely natural with it.
I don't know. Some people would beg to differ.
There is
especially men.
There is one Instagram influencer that I follow who claims to be natural, and his physique is ridiculous.
But even the Liver King claimed to be natural, and my boys had a field day with that one. Like, he was lying, and everybody's talking about that.
That was like that seems so obvious that I guess that's why his claim was just so controversial and got everybody talking.
But hey, they were buying his supplements.
Yeah.
Right?
Everybody was
he
talking.
He made racks.
He got attention.
So is that where, do you feel like, okay, back to like our personal branding conversation. And then I want to hear about your ideas on the legacy project.
Okay.
We're going to talk about that finally. But what was I going to say? So so is that why the culture, like I've been watching some of these like reality TV shows, and more and more and more as these shows come out, there are these characters that obviously they're being pre-screened and vetted. I don't know how many of them or how pathological of a liar you have to be to get through that screening. Like are the people that are screening, like the producers of the show, are they kind of like looking over it, like, turning a blind eye towards like the obvious character flaws that this person probably has because it'll make good TV? Are these people really actually pathological liars and they're acting like they do? Like Love is Blind is the one that I'm watching, right?
Okay, all right.
So they've had now 2, maybe 3 couples. One didn't even make it to the honeymoon. The other 2 failed before the wedding. And it's like, how the hell did you not see that this person is not here for the right reasons at some point in time?
Right.
And is this some of that like attention whore culture? Like they just want to be in front of the cameras, prolong it as much as possible to get that clout out there in the world and build that, like, because a lot of these people that are on these reality TV shows, all of a sudden they are like influencers and blah, 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 blah. So what's your opinion on that? The controversy there?
I'm going to say there's a good percentage of people that are doing it for exactly that reason. Anything like this, the phenomena, the competition shows, the American Idols and anything that starts out like as an honest project and then is successful, then it's just commoditized. And then if it's participants, then they're like, I can be a celebrity. I'll go fake, do whatever I have to do, whatever personality I have to project.
But fake falling in love?
Oh,
like,
on
my God.
TV in front of all of America?
There was one, I don't remember her name, but she's the one that like dipped out as soon as she got proposed to. Did you see that?
No, I've never seen this show.
Oh my God. So what happened was she's obviously a cute, like blonde, whatever. And then, no, I'm not talking about myself. I'm cute, but whatever. I'm not that blonde. So anyway, but she falls in love with a man who, is not what she was expecting physically. Not to say that he wasn't good looking or didn't have stuff to offer or whatever. But then afterward, and he is like so very obviously like in love with her from the inside, then he sees her and he's like, oh shit, you are fine. Like to him, he was like there for it. And she ends up saying like, I just can't do this on camera anymore. Like it's too much pressure, blah, 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 blah. She's crying. He's hugging her, like consoling her. Okay, it's okay. We don't have to do it. Like he's so understanding, whatever. And they both leave. They don't go to the honeymoon phase. And then later on, he comes to another segment, like later on in the season, in the journey. And he's like, yeah, she like won't respond my calls, like won't meet with me, won't return the engagement ring, which was $5,000. So I don't know if that's like
that's a little weird,
right?
Yeah.
Like how do people do that and get away with it? I feel like just in general, like I think in general, it's just one of the things that irks me. Like how do people take advantage of like that and literally like so very obviously just take it and run with it type of thing?
The whole experience or just the ring?
I mean,
because like that seems like a gray area of law almost. Like That's like the one area that you can just be like, I'll keep it.
And do you feel like, how do you feel about that? I'm so curious to hear a man's perspective, because I've heard women's perspective. Obviously, I talk to girlfriends and they're like, no, that's like that was a gift. Thank you. Goodbye. But I feel like that is actually somewhat a transaction. The engagement ring, is it not? Do you feel like?
I feel like this conversation wouldn't even exist if the ring was $20.
Yeah.
So like
Price tags.
So like, would you give back a $20 ring?
Well, and she was complaining about the $5,000 ring, to be fair,
Oh Lord.
in their conversation before she left.
Oh gosh.
She was like, yeah, it could be bigger. It could be better. It could be.
Oh.
He's like, that's $5,000. That's.
Like, yeah, like.
I'm just saying, what kind of world are we living in right now?
So right. So if there was a day in which I was to be married again, I would certainly not hope that the person would be like, it better be a really nice ring. Like the ring is a symbol of the relationship.
Right.
So like, who gives a fuck about the ring? I think that in my opinion, if a girl breaks off an engagement with a guy, I think it would make sense to give the token of the relationship back. Mm-hmm. Because it's like you're saying, no, we're not gonna do this long term. Take this back and let's go our own ways.
But if he breaks it off with her and has shattered her dreams of being the princess bride,
Yeah, I kind of feel like she should keep it.
she should keep it.
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's a great.
Unless it's, you see, it's like
Great
that's why it's a gray area, because it's like, I mean, what if she was like
cheating on him?
and he found out?
Yeah.
I mean,
If she was cheating on him, she's probably not giving the ring back.
exactly.
Let's be
my
fair.
next thought there. Yeah. So
Is there
tough.
insurance for engagement rings? To be determined.
Oh, that's a good question.
I
I'll
have
bet
no
there
idea.
is.
For like theft insurance?
There's probably gambling odds too
Yeah.
on certain relationships, isn't there? Yeah, you can
There are.
gamble on
yes.
your friends' engagements, maybe.
Oh my god. Okay,
anyway.
let's get back to the legacy project.
Okay,
we,
yes.
we totally digressed.
Oh boy.
I love that conversation though. I love that for us. But yeah, what's your take on your hot take on a not so sexy and hot topic, right? I really I grappled with the idea of like, this is my bread and butter. This is how I make most of my money, is like elderly population.
Like when you started?
Yeah, like even just like it's probably been like the last 18 to 24 months that I've really embraced. And I was like, you know what? Medical is probably not as sexy as personal training or media or, photography or other things like this that could be like just like more like fun, sexy, whatever. But you know what's sexy? Money. Like money is sexy. Okay.
That's
and there's
true.
a lot of it in this industry that's really untapped.
Yeah.
So that's like what I've really struggled with. But what's your hot take on?
So I love the fact that I'm not in your industry, specifically, because I came in with sort of a fresh sort of like open mind on the whole thing. So for me, it's not like a matter of sexiness. I'm a marketer. I like doing the creative services, and so what we've talked about so far definitely uses a lot of that to kind of help these homes to have like a better image that they're putting out there. A lot of these homes are plagued by a lot of the same kind of problems. First of all, sameness is kind of a thing,
Yes.
depending on a price point. Like obviously, if you have millions to fork out, then you have the most luxurious of living.
Looking,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So they mostly look the same. Most of their websites are kind of boring. Most of the images that you're going to see on the websites might be stock photography or like some like snapshots on phones. So what you're usually seeing on a lot of the marketing materials and stuff like that is either it just feels fake or it seems depressing.
Yes.
Which
like
is
ew, like that's why like
Yeah.
a lot of elderly people don't want to move into one because they
Right.
feel like their life is over at that point.
right. So like I don't want you to put me into this place where I'm just going to be lost and forgotten, and then I die and I'm just nobody cares about me. So the thought here is that where my creative and marketing side comes in. It's like, how do we better help these homes to tell their stories of who they are? And for me, that comes in the form of like nice videos of like staff engaging with residents. It's going to come in with like them engaging with each other and like playing games and having fun and
Right.
spending time outside and enjoying themselves. So that's one aspect, is really coming into one of these places and like doing a whole photo video session, setting them up with ongoing social media marketing and stuff like that. I'm like giving away the entire like business plan here. But the thing that the
That's
huge,
okay, because we're the experts of the industry. That's what I've heard.
true.
That's what I've heard. I've heard you give as much free information as you possibly can, because really at the end of the day, everyone knows that we're the experts.
That's true.
So yeah,
That's true, and that's why we are bringing something.
no one can do it like us.
We're bringing something completely new to the assisted family home environment, which has not been done that I'm aware of, which is a multi-pronged marketing approach that includes the marketing, includes the website, the social, all this stuff. But the biggest thing, of course, is the AI product, where it's like, or at least a part of it now, because you just added another element to it, which is like
we're gonna
is awesome.
yeah
on top
we're gonna
of it.
diversify as
But
fuck.
like, so you were describing the podcast earlier, Element, where it's like you're having conversations with them to kind of help build their legacy and have that video element. Whereas what I had originally proposed, and we can still do this, which is the AI product, where we're gonna have a thing that they can go through, guided AI conversations that'll remember some of the stories that they've told, and as they're telling these stories, it'll gather audio, it'll transcribe and give summaries and stuff like that. It'll be uploaded, easy peasy, and then provided to the families, so that instead of just putting their loved one in this place where they're just gonna, like you said, just be lost and forgotten and sitting there and
or feel that way, even though they're not. Like there's an active choice to like move the loved one there for reasons.
Knowing this in advance, that they're going to be telling their story and that the families are going to be receiving this story and videos.
It's an experience.
It's like
it's a whole
you're
experience.
Not disconnected anymore.
This is a project that you're going to. This is
and
it's
you're learning
like
more and more about your family than you ever.
It's like
knew
the
before.
Hogwarts of elderly, like of aging.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's magical.
I love that idea.
It's straight wizardry. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is something new. I think it's very unique, and I think it could be implemented in a huge number of these homes across the U.S.
I think it's super exciting, and I think it really does, like you were saying, like there's no more of this like doomsday type of situation. You're really creating an anticipatory type of like momentous, like I can't wait till I move there because I know I have a project to do. Like this is my legacy project. I love that idea. I think that no one is really, we just get stuck in the weeds. Like, and this is what I talk to family members about all the time, because I really do harp on the fact that we as staff and as like healthcare professionals, what we really want to do is take care of all of the tasky, mundane, like repetitive tasks that need to happen, just like to take care of someone, and then empower them to be family.
Right.
Collect moments, gather information, collect memories. I had just recently an ALS client that passed away last month, I believe, and she decided on the day, and it was really gut-wrenching when she was very young grandmother, and she actually the day that she chose to withdraw tube feeding and her external long-term ventilator, which is like a mask ventilator, was the day after National Grandparents Day.
Oh.
So she passed away within like a few short hours, and it was a very like beautiful family surrounded experience. And she had a really wide cast of like a network in the community and the church that was close by and everything. So it was very sweet, for lack of better words, to see like family there. I mean, our Christmas party was extra full because they had such a huge community. I feel like this would have been something that would have also assisted in the behaviors that we had to deal with as professionals, because it's super frustrating. I don't know how much you know about this side of providing care, but I'll enlighten you, and I think you'll start like making some connections, because we're old enough at this point in life to like pinpoint and see it.
Yeah.
But she was so obsessed with losing all of the functions that she was losing and all of the performance parts of things, that she was fixated on: when am I getting my medications? How am I getting my medications? How are you feeding me this? I want to be positioned in, like, to a point where she was asking for us to reposition the same pillow 20 times in like less than 20 minutes. And that was a real conversation we had to have, where I said, you literally can't do this. Like, this is, I was not doing this in the intensive care unit. This is not the level of care that you're going to get. Like, that's one-on-one caregiving. It's very expensive. And even that, people will fire themselves because it's just mentally exhausting.
Right.
I feel like if she would have had a project like this, because she was using the screen that would speak for her, she literally would have taken, and I think that we could still potentially do something posthumously, which is like after death, for her family, because they were, towards the end, I was really encouraging, hey, you guys need to be having a lot of conversations on like memories, life experiences. What questions do you have for your mom? Like, you're a mother now, and they're kind of like grieving like the loss of mom while she's still alive, but she's not really mom. So this like homage to like her life experience and what she's done and how she did things, because she was a successful woman in her own right. She was paying for her own care and her husband's care in our facility. She was a very, very strong individual. And, but that strength, because we didn't know where to funnel her attention and her, intention towards, it really became, I want my care and she knew, like, when we would stop her and be like, hey, these behaviors are unacceptable. Like, we can't, like, that can't happen. And it was multiple different professional agencies that were reiterating that. It's just like, how do you redirect their engagement in being more of reminiscing on good times that they had and like life philosophy and things like that? And I feel like that would be so huge.
I think you're right. And I'm over here thinking, I wonder if there's a way to collect the data on the intrinsic improvement in quality of life for people there. I don't know how you calculate that. Like, how do you calculate, Patch Adams making everybody happy and dancing around kind of thing?
Well, I can tell you. I can give you a perfect example. We have a newer client right now, two newer clients that are like less than 30 days. Okay. And both of them are struggling with basically major depressive disorder. And we're talking with their PCPs and things like that. And their biggest struggle is, my family doesn't want me. I can't take care of myself. I'm losing like one of them baseline was living at home with his wife, and she was primary caregiver, and they had caregivers coming in to assist. The other one baseline was living at home alone, and then had a fall, and family could not provide care, because like at this point, like the one woman is like almost 100.
Yeah.
So her children are also at a point where they will soon need, this is the baby boomer generation we're talking about, right? So what they're both struggling with, like, I'm useless, these are the thing, like one of them is on a hunger strike, one of them, but if you give them something
to focus
that
on
you're like, hey, every day at this time, when we know that it's their best mental operative time, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about X category. This is going to be something that you leave behind for, your wife or your children or your grandchildren. Like, we want them to get to know you. And I think that will give them this spark or this dopamine of like, someone cares to hear my story. Like, I know they know that deep down, but right now all that's on their frontal, lobe is like, nobody wants me. Everybody has a busy life. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
And if we can say everyone cares, everyone wants to know about your life, and everyone wants to hear from you forever, not just now. Will you partner with us and let's build this out together?
I was just talking to somebody on my way over here who was telling me her mother-in-law is hitting 70 years old and keeps telling about everybody how nobody loves her. And I'm just thinking, like,
What
if
a
there's
gift
what a like
to
what
give
a
someone.
turn, maybe like a turn of like mentality.
Yeah,
in
a
general.
mindset shift.
Yeah.
If someone were to, let's say, which I think we're extrapolating some things, and I'm glad we're recording it, right? This is where most business meetings should happen, is on camera.
The sauce on camera.
Okay, so I really feel like this is something we can roll out. We're in Q4. I think this is something we can roll out to not only families in assisted living facilities. Those are our like main clients right now, but even families that have family members or loved ones that are living at home still and are maybe losing their sense of purpose. And we can start recording from now.
A home version?
Absolutely. And then, if they transition into assisted living, fine, we'll still follow, but there are different tiers. But this is something that we could package as Christmas gifts. Even if it's a payment plan and they make a down payment.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that would be something that would really sell. Really sell. Adult children, like, what do you get your parents anymore for Christmas? That have had it, that are elderly, they're like, why don't spend money on me? I
don't need stuff. Yeah,
they're not gonna throw this one to the side. They're gonna be like, oh hell yes. Like, where do I sign up? When do I do it?
The older you get, I think the more important this is, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Before you forget your memories. Like I said, like, my biggest existential crisis and fear was like, am I gonna die before I get to slow down enough? Which, you know me, like, everybody knows me. Everybody's like, you're always doing everything all at once. Like, what the fuck, And it's true to a certain degree. But until I realized, like, there's no perfect time and moment, I'm just gonna make it now. Like, when I have the time, I'm gonna prioritize. And me knowing, like, even at this point, like, I have enough out on camera that my kids will never forget me.
Right.
They'll never be like, I don't know how would mama respond to XYZ? Like, whatever. Like, they're gonna know that I dropped the F-bomb a lot. They're gonna know that I was like, shut the fuck up. They're gonna know that I had these little quirks and kinks that, like, just like, they associate with me. And that's okay. Like, I feel at peace because it's like I also said with John, like, it was like, it's never going to feel like the right time. It's never going to feel like the perfect time. You're going to do it. Like, you just do it scared. Do it messy. Do it unpolished. I think that's like what I'm probably a professional at.
Oh, there you go.
Is like, just do it.
Okay.
Nike type of shit.
Yes, and you are doing it. And you're on brand with everything, which is why it's working so well, I think.
Is it? How is that on? Oh, yeah. Nurse Gone Rogue.
Yeah, because you're telling your own personal stories, your own personal accounts and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, it's all on brand, and you're being
anecdotal.
sassy as fuck with it. Yeah.
What?
As fuck with it. Yeah.
That's the thing. I feel like I lived in such a suppressed lifestyle until I was 31, and then it's true. I learned a lot of terms from my trauma therapists. And one of the terms I learned from one of my trauma therapists was the pendulum swing. And have you ever heard of that?
Go on.
So the pendulum swing is when you've been in one extreme for a very long time.
Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden you just pluck yourself from that situation and you go all the way to the other extreme. So I'm like, I've never cursed, I've never danced, I've never bleached, colored my hair, I've never worn makeup, I've never had earrings, I've never blah 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 blah. And I went like, oh, I'll just be platinum blonde, like, and it's not going away, But then she said, and then you're gonna go like just back and forth until you finally settle into like,
okay, yeah.
Oh, this is who I am, like, this is the balance. So she's like, your swings will get smaller and smaller over time until you finally feel at peace with who you actually are. And I don't know if I'm there yet, but I feel like I'm, when some people, one of my best friends and mentors that's a little bit older than me, she told me that at one point when she was speaking with her at the time husband, that she would say my name, just my first name, Diana, and they knew multiple Dianas. And he would say, which Diana? And she would say, no, she said, we have two for you, and two descriptions for you. She's like, oh, spinning plates Diana, or oh, juggling fire Diana. Like that's who I am to people.
Yep.
I guess that's who I am to people. And I'm just like,
I mean, I don't think anybody really knows what your day to day fully looks like, but we all assume it's like organized chaos. Yeah.
that's actually what I'm calling my first ebook.
Oh, well.
It's called orderly fucking chaos.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Because it's a very accurate depiction of like what my life is like. It's every time I think I'm getting into some kind of structure, and I really gave myself a hard time with, when is my life going to be normal, or why can't I just be normal? And it's like, okay, what is normal even at this point?
Well, I mean, like I just said, normal is what we assume those people are that are still hiding things.
I love that.
Huh.
Because it's true.
Yeah. Because, like, you don't find out that I'm, abnormal until you really know me. I was going to start throwing out, like, examples. Yeah. Like, you're not going to...
And you were like, no, I'm not ready for that quite yet.
I told myself on the way over here, I was like, I'm just going to put myself out there all the way, but I'll...
And then you get in front of a mic and a camera and you're like, damn,
Metered.
people are like unforgiving.
Oh,
Which by the way, like, I pride myself in being a very emotionally safe person, even though we're recording and whatever. Like, I will give you an opportunity to review the recording and make suggestions or requests for things to be clipped out or taken out, and you get to see whatever edits beforehand.
Okay.
Because I feel like that's really important, and that's an important part of being like good humans to each other.
yeah. I wouldn't say I've said anything.
No, I know. I'm just
okay.
saying, like, in general, for the record, like, I do, like, I empathize. I feel like that not enough people are actually emotionally safe for others to be themselves.
Oh, yeah.
And to be like, step out, and you talk about like the facade and the like people that and the only normal people are the people that are actually like stifling like who they really are. I remember the pendulum swing. So when I got out, I'm like talking like I got out of Compton, but it kind of felt something like that prison break feel, And I had this like pendulum swing, and I think a lot of trauma survivors will probably identify with this, but there's like an oversharing that happens. And, I was just so raw and freshly out of this like stifled, super locked in, hide this covert type of life that was super image based. And I went the total opposite direction and like I overshared to people that probably weren't vetted and were not emotionally safe people.
Yeah.
And I really pride myself in being that emotionally safe person and not weaponizing what someone tells me, which is something that I feel like a lot of people do end up doing.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
I've experienced this.
How have you experienced it without going into too much detail? You talked about something to someone and what happened.
Oh, well, I talked about some stuff to someone, and in a moment where tensions arose, suddenly those were just like, hey,
thrown in your face.
Remember those things that you shared in confidence? You're a failure. Like,
right.
Oh, well, that changes the nature of our relationship.
Doesn't it?
Yes.
How does that, can you like describe to people that are listening maybe like how does that make you feel towards that person, and is there ever do you feel like there's ever a comeback to safety with that person, and what would they have to do or demonstrate, or what would you have to feel from them to be able to like recover that relationship? Because I think that's an important conversation that a lot of people don't have, is like conflict resolution and how to restore relationships.
Yeah, I think that's the first question, is whether or not you could even have the conversation about that happening. Because if you can't have that conversation, then the friendship changes intrinsically. I don't know if that's the right word, but
yeah,
it changes because you're no longer friends. You're you've got a mask over your face because you realize that if you share too much, it could be problematic for you in the future. So now
So
you're
you're guarded.
you're calculating all of your communication with this person who's supposed to be your true friend. Well, it's not true friendship.
Right.
That's
So you
imbalance,
become more guarded versus protective.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've noticed that. I have had a few close relationships that, I mean, obviously I have like some significant ones that really traumatized my life historically, but more recently, even friendships that, you know, you see certain things and certain phrases or conversations taken and kind of twisted, and, you know, you feel gaslighted,
Yeah.
and which people throw so much terminology out there, and I feel like they don't even understand what it means. But someone weaponizing something and gaslighting you within a conversation about the things that you said, or like manipulating and the triangulation that happens. But I have had conversations and recovered with people. It just takes, my best answer is like, it takes time. And then whenever it's been a close relationship, taking it back out, like it's a ripple effect. That's what I teach my kids with like boundaries. You have your core circle, and then as you go out, like
Yeah.
those are your it becomes acquaintances and stuff. And sometimes it's okay if friendships are actually a closer circle than even like family of origin, because a lot of
yeah.
times a lot of us don't come from like super safe like family of origin relationships. But then you just reevaluate. You move those relationships out, and then you reevaluate over time. And people will, I love the quote, people will show you who they are, believe them. And
Yeah.
I think we just want, like, it's kind of like the Michelangelo effect on steroids. Because I actually commented on that reel, and I was like, okay, when does it become trauma bonding, though?
Yeah.
Where do you draw the line between seeing the best in people and encouraging them and enabling them?
Interesting. Well, I think unfortunately it's experience. So when you were at your most when you were at your least strong as a person moments, when you were going along with a relationship and not really being critical or being willing to do anything necessarily to stop it, you remember all that and you learn from all of it.
Yeah.
So you had to go through the shit part of the breakup and all this stuff to get to the point where you now know, like, if you're talking to somebody, you know all these signs and you know all these things that are going off in your head, which is like, I understand what you just said, but I don't think you understand how toxic the thing you just said is super is. So you know that now. Unfortunately, it took you going through XYZ to get there. Same here.
Yeah.
So, like, we're better for it. And I think relationships can only get better. But unfortunately, that also means sometimes you have to recognize red flags when they show up.
And stop painting them.
And you either have to set that person off on their own course, if that's what it comes to, or you have to say, like, I will not allow you to get this close, but you can stay back here because I understand what happens if you get this close, and I'm not comfortable with that anymore.